Hello! So I'm bobbing down because I want to get the full screen in here. So this is the last video that we're doing about modes, and this is a different way of doing it where we start with the starting note as C every time, and the patterns of the scales, the tones and the semitones, build up. So instead of using the same group of notes and just starting on a different note each time, we're actually changing the accidentals and the chromatic notes that we have to play to create the pattern of the scale. Now this was how I was taught modes, and I found it very confusing, and it was taught to me in patterns of tones and semitones, and this bit goes sharp, this bit goes flat, this is a raised sixth and a flattened seventh, and I just, it didn't really chime with me. But I think if you do the videos first and get a feel for the different modes, the 7 modes down here being do to do, re to re, mi to mi, fa to fa, and get that in your head first and associate that with the names, then you can say, right, if C is do, then I can work out the rest of the notes. If C is re, then I can work out the rest of the notes, because we're only thinking about mi and fa and ti and do being the close ones. So then that helps you remember the patterns of the tones and the semitones, and then you can work out the notes from there. So what I'd like to point out, when you've got it written like this, you can see that that semitone passes through the scales earlier and earlier down into the scales in a sort of diagonal pattern as they come through. So it's where the semitone is positioned in the scale really affects how we play it. So actually it is one pattern of tones and semitones that are just being shifted back and back and back. So you can sort of see the patterns when they're laid out like this. So let's start off with our major scale. So we start with a C, and this time we're not going to do the rhythms, we're just going to work out the notes. And so you can do this for any starting note, and you can work out all of the 7 modes from any starting note that you do. So let's find a C. Okay, and we'll do 2 beats per note. So C, D, so that is an Ionian, a major scale based on C. Now we want to play a Dorian scale based on C. So if C is re, re, mi, fa, we have a semitone here. So to create that semitone, we're going to need an E flat. C, D, E flat. Then we need a tone. So fa, F, another tone to get from so to la. G, A is another tone. And then here we need a semitone, B flat, and then a tone, C, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat, C, and that creates a Dorian mode. So we know that if C is re, we can work out where the semitones fall based on the solfa, and then we can work out the actual letter names. So find a C. I'd suggest you do these in first position, just to sort of really get a feel for the note names. So 2 beats on C, C, 2 beats on D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat, C. So that has that traditional sort of Dorian sound. Okay, so the next one is Phrygian. So if we say that C is mi, then we need to find a semitone straight away. It's quite hard to sing. C, D, so C, D flat, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, re, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi. and that creates our Phrygian. So we've got a semitone, so C, semitone to D flat, we need a tone, D flat to E flat, tone, E flat to F, tone, F to G, then we need a semitone, G, A flat, then a tone, B, C. Okay, so if we start with a C, and we're going to use our low fours to create the D flat cellos, it might be worth talking to Charlie about how to find some of these notes, what position you might want to play. For the D flat, you can do a low one if you use your open C for these ones. So C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, B flat, A flat, G, F, E flat, D flat, C. So that is a Phrygian sounding mode. Okay, so still sticking with C, we're going to go to a Lydian mode. So remember, this is the one with the tritone, the augmented fourth, which is quite tricky to tune. So if you look, actually, there's only one accidental in this, only one note that's changed. It's that F sharp, but because it delays the semitone, it makes it quite hard. So we've got C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. Okay, so let's have a go. C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. Okay, that's our Lydian. Now we have a mixolydian. Now this is so to so. So if C is so, so, la, ti, do, so, la, ti, do. Very similar to do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do. So it sounds like a major scale, but then the top semitone is shifted from the end to just before the end. So, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la, sol. So it's, again, if you look at the accidentals, it's only a B flat that changes it from being a C major scale. So let's play it together, 2 beats for each one. So C, D, our Aeolian is our minor scale. So this is a C natural, so a C natural minor scale. So it's the same notes as an E flat major scale, but starting on C. But we have this is a la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. That feels very normal to us. So C minor, natural minor scale, C Ionian. 2 beats on C. C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, B flat, A flat, G, F, E flat, D, C. Now, I haven't written in the note names for the last one, the Locrian, because you've got the patterns and you know how to work these things out. So I would like you to have a go at working out the Locrian one yourself. Okay, the answers are on the website that I am sending you a link to. There's a notation written out for all of these scales with C as your starting note. So C would be Ti, Do, re, your Locrian one. And once you get good at doing these ones, it's quite a good brain gym. So exercise to use, find a starting note and say, right, I'm going to play do to do, re to re, mi to mi, but starting with the same note. So and what you'll find is that you'll feel the semitone moving back and back and back down the scale. So in your fingers you'll feel this, and you can even put the rhythms of that we were doing in the other videos into it as well if you're feeling very, very like you need something to challenge your brain. Okay, but don't just stick with C. It would be amazing if you could be able to play any of the 7 modes on any starting note, just being able to apply the patterns of tones and semitones based on do to do, re to re, mi to mi. The only thing you need to remember is that mi and fa and ti and do are close, and all the other patterns just fall into place. So welcome to the world of modes. Once you realise what they are, they crop up everywhere, and I think it's a very different way of listening and exploring and playing music, rather than just having the 2 versions that we use up till now.